So that creates a big rift within. So you play with the intellectual toys of spirituality. You never actually experience life nor the spirituality. If I say that living, when I say realization of life, people say, so what life I'm living? No, you're not living life. You're living your ideas about it. So you are free as a vibration, but when you make a choice, destiny is formed. So people ask whether there is free will or destiny. It's both. You desire and commit to a desire. Now you are in a destiny of desire. So called ideas of freedom are essentially freeing yourself from one trap and entering into another slavery. That's what we call freedom. You are that life. That is what the real, what you say, lion's roar is. Where you say, no, this is my life. Maybe I'm wrong, but it will be my mistake. There's a dignity to that. Until you don't acknowledge and honor your feminine, you cannot really love a woman. When I came to Rishikesh, I came with a very existential mind, not spiritual, not material. That's what we call here also. That it's not about self realization or about samsara or success, it's about life realization. Because life realization kind of contains both as part of life. And this duality which has happened amongst people, spiritual versus material, we are the spiritual, like a uniformed spirituality. Some uniform code is there. And I think Osho talked about all aspects of pure self, pure you. Then Buddha says nothingness. But then fourth is said by Chandilya that just satta, presence. Presence is all three together. It's I also, you also, it's nothing also. So that needs a very different brain to digest that. So we want to choose akhadas, follow this or follow that. But actually, if you realize life, when you see it's, I mean, in Gita, Krishna is talking about all the paths. This lady asked me in an interview that, so what is the essence of Gita? To Krishna. So she's staring at me. She thought I will burst into some philosophical ranting. Krishna is the essence. This life is the essence of all what is happening. So material is kind of excluded as if life is stupid, which created the material. And liberation is kind of our ticket out. Why you want to get out? Where you will go actually. So this way, this duality which is created in the people's mind about their body also. So that creates a big rift within. So you play with the intellectual toys of spirituality. You never actually experience life nor the spirituality. If I say that living, when I say realization of life, people say, so what life I'm living? No, you're not living life. You're living your ideas about it. Realization of life is what essentially what Tantra is, not this techniques. It's a kind of deep connection with the vibration of life, the Shakti. That is your definition. The present vibration of life is the what we call Bhairav. Bhairav is the, just imagine 7 billion people and trillions of creatures and galaxies, civilizations there. That is all one mind, one thought. That is Bhairav. So getting to Bhairav, we better be ready because we can't handle even duality within us. That is multiplicity. That multiplicity is in the zero. What is called nothingness is like everythingness. So there is Shiva aspect. So Bhairav is when it manifests. So Bhairav is the Shakti. Bhairav is that mind which is appearing in many, many forms. The problem which happened with Hinduism is that it got stuck with the mythologies and images and forms. Essentially, what it is, as elementally as, because recently there was one student that she was saying that she always gets images, mandalas, and this and that. That is the Shakti aspect of a student. But she asked me, do I get? I said, no, I just get the sounds of it, wisdoms of it. I don't see Bhairav's face, but I just feel Bhairav is one mind appearing in many forms. So that is a different kind of, some people think in apps, some people think in electricity. Electricity is everywhere. Apps are different. So experiencing that electricity, you have to be deeply connected with creativity. People are talking a lot about, devis and this goddess, that goddess. Essentially, it's creativity. This creativity becomes will in us. My will is this, but behind it is the creativity. Recently, a student asked me a question that you say don't desire, but then you're saying that she had this contradiction. But I told her that desire, look behind desire is creativity. And what is creativity? Vibration of Shiva. And it is a vibration. It is not an action or a movement. It's a vibration. You cannot say smoke rising is a action. It is just how things are just expanding. That's what we call anahatanada, the Shakti. Out of that vibration, we derive our actions in a linear way. But that presence is expanding in every way, hence the present. But when we create this, a time is created. And that's what we call karma. And it has to come back to its source. That's what completion of karma. So you create time and you kind of get trapped into it. So you are free as a vibration, but when you make a choice, destiny is formed. So people ask whether there is free will or destiny. It's both. You desire and commit to a desire. Now you are in a destiny of desire. So called ideas of freedom are essentially freeing yourself from one trap and entering into another slavery. That's what we call freedom. Why in relations you want freedom? To go with some other person, to go for another slavery. But real freedom is freedom to express and freedom to withdraw and be free of all. But a monk gets stuck here and a worldly person gets stuck into various freedoms. Only in the gaps, briefly, in the process of longing, he feels the freedom. Oh, I'm feeling great. Now you're hopeful for tomorrow. So there is a direction to it. But if you just stay with that gap, you are alone. You are with your energy. So freedom is this, and also freedom to return back. That is true freedom. Otherwise, on the circumference, you are kind of jumping from one to another, one to another. Same is with practices. When you're doing a practice, you have to see who is practicing. That is the goal. Practitioner is the goal. So most of these gurus don't tell you that. Only Ramana, I heard him saying to one seeker, who is chanting? Look at that. Not out there, what will be the result? Go from this dot, who is chanting? There's another cosmos. So that is out of time. As I was making a joke that this is time going down and this is out of time, liberation. Here, no time. Just Krishna's play is going on and on and on. It's not even on and on and on. This is our language. Otherwise, it's on. Another tragedy which happens with these people is that they deny Shakti, judge body, desires, and everything. forgetting that desire is the creativity of Shiva. And they start to withdraw from life. Talk, there's no juice there. It's tradition and grip of tradition. But if you're doing sadhana, I'm seeing so many people, they're doing sadhana, but there's no creativity in their life. Means you don't activate Shakti, Kundalini, if you don't have anything to do. You will go crazy. And people are going crazy. So many, because brahmacharya, so called, energy going up. Brahmacharya is this freedom inside. Krishna was not brahmachari, but he had kids. Ram was not brahmachari, he had two sons. So misguiding youngsters, making them, kind of duality about their own energy. Then you become weak. Then you need these people who kind of pretend to be your guides. Finally, they themselves are kind of have no idea really. They stick on to tradition. Essentially, Shakti is creativity. And if you don't acknowledge and participate in creativity, it's like this, that you come to meet me, but my wife or my girlfriend you do not like. I cannot really like you then. Because where my best flows, that you hate, how you can like me? The same is Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is the Shakti. He appears in this form. You don't appreciate how he appears, and you reject it and choose your ideal of Shiva, what it is, and go for it. That's why yogis die early, because disconnected. Devotees, they live very long because they say all is Brahma, I accept all. Bodies are strong, lives are healthy. Six, look at six, most prosperous, because they didn't create this duality. Everything is a Kunkar Satnam, do it seva. The rich also, they are, what you say, enterprising and working also. I will never see a Sikh begging. He'll end up doing something, because the very core of their vision is that this is the truth. Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Haisi vi Sach, Nanak, Hosi vi Sach. There is no Maya, it's truth only. When it's truth only, a communication starts with this life. It's a being. It's not some random event. It's a being. How you interact with it, how you create a connection with it by first accepting your body deeply with deep reverence. That's what Tantra is. People are doing Tantra, but they have no idea. You have to worship your body first. Create a inner micro macro cosmos, inner male female in love with each other. If I hate my body, I will find women who will also do the same to me. It will reflect outside. Till my relation is not healthy within, it's not going to work out with anybody, nor if any friend also. So you will attract similar frequencies. So like you attracted a guru because you are into that state where you are kind of in a traditional cultural conflict of indulgence, then going into a self-rejection. For example, what I feel about you is that you have to get into dancing more in a sacred way because you made your body a prostitute. Now you have to make her a devi. Then you will see that what inner alchemy, how it starts to manifest outside. Because mostly people are treating their bodies as a prostitute. Bodybuilders are like, male looking, but they're prostitutes, showing off their body. These are the kind of, elementally practical functionings of Sanatan. These are not mythologies and all that. All Puranas, stories which we hear, they all are happening within us right now. Understand? That if there is a Hiranyakashyap who wants to kill Prahlad, Hiranyakashyap is our logical mind which tries to kill our devotion and soft feelings for life. And then this Prahlad only, once pushed too much, becomes one day Narsimham and destroys that mind. And it appears out of nowhere, neither day nor night, neither in nor out. So all techniques are gaps between thoughts, gaps between breath. Evening time meditation, when it's neither day or night. So those are the points when you are out of the system. You wonder that why people do in the mornings with sunrise, just before sunrise, or in the evening. after sunset. Energy is shifting. In shifts, your being is available to you. But in that cycle of movement of shift, you are trapped into the cycle of life. So our best experiences happen when we are in gap. Like after breakup of a relation, if you don't rush for another woman, in that gap you have your best time because you are rediscovering yourself. Soon the mind comes in, it makes creativity a desire. I need somebody. Actually, what is desire? Wanting to expand is the desire. Why I want a woman or money? Because I feel I can expand. But Sanatan way is that you can expand with your creativity. The chanting should not be for getting some goal or getting some spirituality. It's about making a sound with joy and bhakti. Just addressing, not addressing, vibrating along with the present. You understand that mostly people are doing spiritual practices. After so many years, I'll get this. I teach, that's why I tell people chant for the celebration of it, for the joy of it, that because this is Ram going on. And we just need to sing with it, move with it. For me, that is realization of life. Because even in Zen, they say after a while that going beyond enlightenment, even enlightenment is put aside. Then you're a simple man having a cup of tea. Then there is no separation between body, soul, Brahma, or this. It's all just one being moving. And there you are then. That's the Narayana playing this game, playing Shiva, playing Ram, playing Indra, playing this and that. But forget that one whose movement it is. Like I say that, like if you're looking at ants, we say, oh, ants or birds. But if you really think who is flying, who is Shannon, then the beginning of bhakti begins. Oh, there is somebody, there is something. See, like for example, you walk. Will you say your legs are walking or Shiv is walking? You think its thought is moving or Shiv is thinking? So look at all this plant blooming. That is our definition. But there is somebody else's thought which is blooming as a plant. So that is discovering the sacred in ordinary. We wait, reject this as the ordinary and look for some sacred out there. Your this very simple action has to become your everything. That's what Hanuman is. This. For him, this is Ram. Rest is all story. That's why he is the Priya Bhakt. Raghuputi Priya Bhaktam. Why? Because for him, this sound of Om, Ram, is the only truth. Of course, then people say, then what will happen to my social life? That's what they're saying, that if you are here really, then all four happen. Dharam, moksha, kam, arth, because they're part of your being. But when you become typical spiritual, then you reject something to reach somewhere. The story. And it goes on and on. So even that story is not bad. That's just what the dramas are. Without Ravana, there is no Ramayana. He'll be sitting in his kingdom with Sita. See, I still now haven't ever been to Kashi. Many people told me and all that. But my struggle also is with this traditional minds. They want to stack you into their rack. That's what the problem is. That's what I learned from Osho. That rebelliousness. That no, I want my definition of life, my definition of Brahma, my song about him, not traditional what they say how you should chant or sing or something. And I think he doesn't mind. Traditions mind, but he doesn't mind because it's an intimate connection. Me and that. So for me, it's neither a yoga nor bhakti nor tantra. It's just like you are that life. That is what the real, what you say, lion's roar is. What you say? No, this is my life. Maybe I'm wrong, but it will be my mistake. There's a dignity to that. But you're wrong according to somebody else's instruction. That is very, very sad. You should rather have your own suffering than to suffer in a compromise. Rather be alone and suffer than to suffer in a relation. But suffering is going to be there. Yeah, one of my friends, I met him. He's a lawyer. He is a young lawyer, and he said that this guy wants to be married. He's asking him that why should I get married or not? So he told him that listen, you have to repent both ways. So why not get married and repent? At least there won't be a what if I got married. So this get married and repent, and so lesser evil. Problem is the memory mind ruling your present mind. I tell couples that don't share too much of your past stories. You'll be a much healthier relation. I did this. You're forming image. You're slowly, she's becoming stagnant in front of you. You start to see her into layers and layers, and you start to see those stories only. Many couples kind of, if they can stay quiet, not talk much, impossibility. Yeah, so that will activate your feeling aspect of each other. Stories will become smaller and smaller and smaller. But talking would kill it all because energy goes to the head. If it stays with the vibration and feeling, then it's no more a two minds of two Shaktis. It has its own flow and it has its own rhythm and timing. Because, for example, in also, couples have to, they come a tide off. But when it starts to kind of settle down, male minds of, no, why this is happening? I should kind of push it. Now you're breaking the very base and the rhythm of Shakti. You have to rest and settle, go into silence, energy gathers, then it comes again tight. So it's like breathe in, breathe out. And both, so when, for example, man is on high tide, woman receives, but woman is playing passive. Most of the, it's like they don't make any move because they are too afraid of, man is afraid of this, because she's much more stronger, then he'll freak out. So when he settles, then her male comes up. When she moves, he receives. And then this is a circulation which is happening. This circulation also in interactions and all that. There are times they shouldn't talk at all. There are times when they can share, but listening and talking, give and takes. Tai Chi, the push hands. When you push, I receive and push back. This is a dialogue, but that dialogue never happens. It's only ra, 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 ra. Fire, fire, fire. Both are talking at the same time. So these are the kind of basic dynamics. Because Ram is not just a chant, it's a whole science of the cosmos. Fire, water, yin yang, up, down, breathe in, breathe out, forward, recede. Pandit Ji was just there, but actually the Brahmins' DNA is more like an intellectual understanding. They have a wisdom. Because I've seen, I met Kshatriyas also, Shudras also, and Vaishya also. And you can see in the talks that their trend is like I met a mountain guy and I would talk and he would just get things just like that. This guy's, then I came to know he's a Brahmin. So there is something to it. It's not just a caste system. It's a genetically something. Some people are more in the body. For example, blacks, for example, they are very much body culture. And they are giving you all the music revolutions of America, blacks, jazz and blues. Black. Whites hardly did anything. That's the inferiority which they feel, a Shakti oriented culture and their intellect oriented culture. They're manipulative and they're more straight hearted. So this is you'll find in culture. Punjab is also like more of a heart culture, heart and warrior. They're very direct. Whatever all this was, these were not concepts, these were understandings. So now they're carrying the concepts. Each person has a different mode to understand things. So till you don't understand that, you can't really explain yourself. Each person, there's a different metaphor, different examples to use to make them. I also feel that the new culture of Earth will start by mixing up all these human races. The whole problem will be uprooted, whites and blacks. After 200 years, you don't find any pure breed, it's all mixture. Various wisdoms, pollinization of wisdoms. And then, and various religions, but they have discovered their pollinization and interaction. That's why we work on everything, Sai Chi, martial arts, creativity, mantras, everything. Because to color your full rainbow, and then arises a kind of truly what Krishna was saying. That according to situation, you become the situation. You don't say, oh, I am the Brahmin, I can't do this. That the movement of the life. It's that's the thing, like for example, Ram is fire and water. So you need to develop both within you, Tai Chi as well as hard martial arts. Then you have two very opposite moving in harmony. Yeah, it's water method. It's feminine but super powerful. For example, Taoist monks they live very long, 100, because path of non-resistance. Whereas whole fire path is of resistance, so it burns you out. So relaxing and this, but there's a balance also, which is what is going to be the bridge. You acknowledge both feminine and male. Until you don't acknowledge and honor your feminine, you cannot really love a woman in true sense. Actually, I am combining Shakti mantras with Tai Chi. That is the pollinization. Because Tai Chi is a total path of Kali, electric current, which is Kali. And it's electric current which runs the cosmos. You go just by the beyond, which you have no idea. You have your theories about. For example, this first salutation movement is the body chant. This is fire, Ra, Ma, settling with the water. So you see, body is chanting that. That's why they say, no, Ram is into every particle. So that is the yin yang is in every particle. So this movement establishes the Ram mantra into your body, not as a word, but as a movement. These two movements, breathing in is Ma, breathing out is Ra. So that's what Ram means. You send, even if your mind is repeating Ram, Ram, it starts to get balanced with male, female. You start to have understanding. So this is the approach, that practical approach of this. Otherwise, people are having Ayodhya Ram in their mind and focusing on that. So that's what I'm trying to do also, that we are doing it and it's not even trying, we are on it. That how to connect these two dualities, spiritual material, water, fire, male, female, and have this, people's bodies are scattered. When you do martial arts and get into bodies, then you move as a single unit. That is the whole point of Reiki. You move in a finger with the whole body. You guys don't move the finger. So you chant with your whole body. Then there is a event happening. Then all are not problem because it's electric exchange and people are electrically stuck here. Blacks electrically very circuit alive. So much because their food and their whole more a culture is going through survival. So their zor is very ready for danger and attack. We're more focused on creativity because I find that human beings are attracted towards that because essential need in human is to express and manifest. And then he thinks maybe he will have a job, career. That's how we'll do. But essential need of your force is to express itself. That is, before self realization, there is a self actualization, which Jung talked about. Till you don't actualize yourself, who you are, what you feel. First exercise I told this new group last 3 4 months back was write your mind out every day. Your mind need to speak about itself, whatever it's going through. Don't no judgment. Then when you put it out, it starts to organize. Then you'll start to have insights about yourself. That's why we need people to talk to, but they edit you by their looks. So you need to talk to yourself. Only then you can understand your mind. Because mind is essentially a tool for creativity. It's not, that's why we gossip. Why scrolling? Because your mind wants to expand. Then it sees various things, it feels it's expanding. But actually, it needs to create something, feel its purpose, not in future, but in that it kind of discovers itself. That discovery is not insisted upon. Fix into a career, into a marriage, into a system. That's what is. There's the whole system is trying to fit you into some system. And mostly culture is created by outcasts, artists, painters, independent thinkers. That's what we carry as our heritage. Patanjali Sutras are the one of the most scientific sutras. Not a single word is unnecessary. And that's the whole point of writing that is Swadhyaya. That is his first practice is study yourself. So, right, you're studying yourself. Then you exactly, and you become a good speaker also, because otherwise people, you know, because they're trying to write on your mind and want to read it. Yeah. But once you are writing, your mind starts to circulate and starts to see, okay, here I'm bullshitting, here I'm real. So you become a refined thinker also. The people who, as a thinking, gave us, they were writers. They wrote a lot. So in that circulation of intelligence and awareness, slowly you start to edit out what is unnecessary, and you speak. Then there is a content which is actually usable. Otherwise, it's just talking blah blah blah. So that's why in today's time, people are in the mind. You don't tell them techniques of mantras or this and that. First, get your system clean, your thinking, your body system free of any repressions. Then you work on spirituality. Because otherwise, it's disaster. All the gurus, for example, Shiva told all his things to Parvati. That is to any truth which is from higher level, it has to establish into your action. That's what the role of female is. It establishes into the DNA of Earth to female. In other words, if it doesn't become an action, it's crap. So you have to take you have to take brick by brick. Applicable, you add. Then you go on to next philosophy. Applicable, add. That's how you function with this time. Because Shakti or the Sanatan is most practical and functional philosophy. It has become only a mind fuck, philosophical intellectualism. 10,000 translations of Gita. Kosho said once that nothing in Mahabharata which is not there in human consciousness going on. So if you understand Mahabharata and all its psychology and interaction, you understand basically whole humanity. What really goes on. In that sense, Mahabharata, the scripture, the whole story of it, all interactions, every interaction has some wisdom there. It's telling you something that how a wicked person, how Krishna is handling, how he's playing the game. The humanness of Krishna or Ram is kind of put aside. Krishna left the battlefield and ran away. That's why he's called Ran Chhod Das Ji. Because not that I'm the Krishna and I will defeat everybody. No, Ram became disappointed and frustrated and lost hope when it was about time to attack because he's full of power, Ravana. He doesn't know how to. We don't mention that. He was Avatara, and we say, no, 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 he's God. Human form is the Avatara. This is Avatar going on. When somebody was asking the Osho that Krishna says that whenever there is a crisis in humanity on dharma, I take Avatar. So Osho said, when there was not a crisis, that means Avatar is always there.
Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaj Man